Hey guys, what's going on? Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Trump, President of the United States, UN address. So he is addressing the United Nations, and apparently he has some pretty interesting things to say. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to listen to, I believe this is the whole thing. Um, and let's see how this goes. Open it up here. Oh, and before I do that, let me check the sound. Before I do that, let me check the sound. Okay, sound is good. Over here. Oh, we got YouTube chat. YouTube chat. That up. Oh, about chat. Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Trump, President of the United States UN address, and apparently he has some pretty interesting things to say. So let's see how that goes. Put it up here. Uh oh.
Teleprompter.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the
Oh.
teleprompter is not working.
Oh. Oh,
I feel very happy to be
that's
up here
weird.
with you nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
See, this is the thing. This is one of those things is that Trump thrives when there's a live audience. If you so recall, whenever they were setting up the Biden administration and the Trump, I guess the Trump campaign team, when they were setting up the rules of engagement for the 2024 presidential debates between Biden and Trump, Trump wanted an audience. He was very adamant that there needed to be a live audience. There needed to be actual regular people there who were watching this live. And Biden and his team were like, no, no, we can't, no, we can't have that, we can't have that, because if you have an audience, people are gonna start laughing, they're gonna start cheering, they're gonna start clapping, they're gonna start doing all of this American stuff, and it may look bad for the other side. And in this case, the other side is Biden. Biden is just not. He's just not as charming, I guess you could say, not as witty. I mean, I would say Biden has his good sides. Like if you look at some of his debates in the past, like he's kind of like he's a bit relentless. Like he's strong. He comes off strong. He's kind of overwhelming. He like doesn't let the other guy talk as much. Um, it's it's just that age has really gotten to him. Oh, shit. I forgot to adjust the camera. Okay. So let's start all over again. Let's start all over and get this right. Because the camera starts auto zooming in. Okay. Let's start all over. Start all over. Okay, because everything's gonna go on YouTube too, so I sure the camera doesn't look funny. Hey guys, what's going on? V4 here. We're going to be taking a look at, or today, we're going to be taking a look at Trump and his United Nations address. And apparently, this Trump had a lot of things to say, as he usually does, and it's been making the news. So we're going to see it. We're going to see it, the whole thing. I think this is the whole thing right here. And we'll see what he has to say, see how that goes.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working.
Oh,
I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say
as he does.
that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
And as I was saying before, this is where Trump excels. When he has a live audience, there are people there, they're just watching, they're just reacting like I am right now. If you recall, back in the 2024 elections, when it was, Joe Biden versus Trump, when they were setting up and doing the negotiations talks, as they do for these events to make sure that they set up the ground rules, the Biden team was very adamant that they did not want a live audience. And the Trump campaign team was very adamant that they wanted a live audience. They wanted regular Americans to just be there watching the debate and reacting to it. And this is the reason why. It's because Trump, he's a bit charming. He's funny. He's got jokes. I bet that Trump was probably like a class clown when he was back in like grade school. He probably had, silly things to say. And he comes up with like nicknames for people. He does all this silly stuff. He's very off the cuff. He's very, very direct, very blunt. And obviously Biden was older, but even when he was young, he wasn't really like that. Like Biden has some pretty good debates. Like if you look at his presidential debates, where he was debating, what was his name? Ryan. This was the vice presidential candidate for, I believe it was Mitt Romney. Biden had a pretty good debate performance. He did pretty good, man. But he was much younger back then. He was like, 10, 12 years younger. And he was full of energy, and he was relentless. He had this relentless energy. Like he just didn't want to let the other guy, get one over him. And he interrupted a lot, but he was also a little bit funny in a sense. And Biden in 2024 was not that. So I think pitting him against Trump was just, in a live audience, not the best move. And if I was part of the Biden team, I would have been like, no. And as you saw, eventually the Trump team caved. And I guess they probably got some things. The Trump team probably got some things that they wanted, and Biden probably got some things that he wanted, or his team wanted. And we got the debate that we all remember, where they ended up arguing over who's a better golfer on live television. So that was interesting in its own way. But yeah, Trump speaking his mind. He's on his element.
Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism
Here we go.
under the last administration
Yep.
delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago,
was all
our
Biden's
country was in deep trouble. But today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous
Remember, COVID was Biden's fault. Biden did that. That was
price
him.
increases and record-setting inflation we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high. In fact, it hit a record high 48 times in the last short period of time. Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done.
And you know what? There is a lot of truth to what he's saying here. Like any politician, it's gonna be all glossed up to make him look like everything is perfect in the U.S. and everything everywhere else is going to shit. But it is true. Things are better. Technically the economy is doing good, but I would argue that the average American certainly is not feeling it. Things are very expensive. Things are very expensive because of all the inflation we've had in the COVID era. And stuff like housing is expensive, buying cars. Even if you recall, the used car market in around 2020, when COVID was really going, the used car market it basically was flipped upside down. It used to be that used cars, obviously, cars depreciate, they lose value, and there was this kind of constant churn of like new cars come out and they quickly lose value and they get more affordable in the used car market. And what happened with COVID is that supply was down because of the chip and the logistic issues that COVID caused. And all of a sudden cars were super expensive, and to this day, like even used cars, I'm talking about like used cars were going up in price, which is ridiculous. And to this day, like I was reading a thread recently that used car prices right now they're still haven't recuperate, like they still haven't gotten better. And it's because of the damage, that front-loaded damage of COVID, that even though now you can buy cars that are new and all this and that, there's still a lot of like, it just doesn't feel like things are back where they used to be. So things are better in some ways, but they're not where they need to be. And I think that if you ask the average person, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to prices of houses, when it comes to groceries, it's not where it needs to be. We're still way far away from where things used to be, say, in 2015. And I don't know that they're ever going to go back to that. Certainly the prices are not going to go back to what things were in 2015 in the same way that the prices are not going to go back to what they were in the 1930s. It's just not. We're never going to get that level of pricing ever again because of inflation, Um, so yeah, it's certainly it's a mixed bag.
All of you in this room benefit by that, almost everybody. And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
that's
that,
what it's all about, isn't it?
but it's not
In 4
catching up
years
still
of
to where it
President
needs to be.
Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States.
This
And it's
is
now pouring in from all parts of the world.
there's a lot of investment right
We've
now in the
implemented
U.S.
the largest tax cuts in American
Thanks to the tariffs.
history
It's true.
and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best economy ever, history of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion. And for the last 4 months,
Yeah, this is true too.
and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been zero.
Illegal
Hard to believe.
aliens.
Because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons,
Yep.
from mental institutions, drug dealers. All over the world they came. They just poured into our country with the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means?
Yeah. El
I
Salvador.
want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country. And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out.
Yeah, man. I to be honest, the country of the United States has always been pro-immigration. But the illegal immigration that we had during the Biden years, it just was so bad. You know when they say like a movie's so bad it's good? It's like the situation with the border was so bad that it transcended being good. It was so bad that it was like it was bad, then it got bad enough to be good, but not really. And then it got bad enough to just be ridiculously bad. Like it was insane. It got so bad that it was difficult for some Democrats to defend what was happening. Like it's like they wanted everybody to just be let into the United States. And I want to say I don't understand why. We all know why at this point. It's because, it's been shown throughout history that if you have illegal immigrants that come over here and they have kids, it's very likely that those kids are going to vote Democrat. Like, it's very, very likely. Historically, the Latino population has voted massively for Democrats. Like, it's a great, great majority of the Latino population has been pro-Democrat and pro-left in the United States historically. And so it feels like if you're a Democrat and you're allowing more people to come in, that's almost like free votes. And you can see some of the changes that have happened in states like California, where it used to be more even. There used to be, you could be a Republican president and you could win California. That could happen. Now it's completely impossible because the demographics have changed so severely that it is basically like the Democrats essentially, from a presidential perspective, have a monopoly on California. And you saw situations like this where you had illegal immigrants that were being sent to places where they were like, it's a conservative state or it's a conservative area, and now it's flooded with these illegal immigrants, and that is an attempt to change the demographics of that area, which in turn will change the voting demographics of that area in the long term. And I mean, that's a good thing for the Democrats, but it's a bad thing, I think, for everybody else, because all you're doing is diluting the pool with people that weren't supposed to be here to begin with. You're diluting how much everybody's voice counts, their vote, because you're bringing in people that aren't even from this country, who have no claim to being in here. It's not like they came in with a visa. It's not like they came in through legal immigration. These are illegal immigrants. So I think in that respect, especially for the violent criminals, and gang members, I think that it's probably a good thing that they're being sent, to El Salvador and to these places. I think the U.S. doesn't need more criminals and more gangs.
No choice. And other countries have no choice, because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration.
Yeah.
It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world.
Thanks to
At the
Biden.
NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending, at my request, from 2% to 5% of
That's
GDP,
pretty big, man.
making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration
so,
has
yeah.
negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going
Here we go.
to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them.
Trump, the
31,
president
think
of
it,
peace.
31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years.
The war killer.
I ended 7 wars. And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda.
Oh yeah,
vicious,
man.
violent war that was.
That was bad.
Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that.
It feels like he's like calling them out. It's just like, no president, no prime minister, hell, no country. And I'm looking at y'all. The United Nations, all the nations right here have ever done as much as me. Like, he's just like humbling them.
Honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of
Damn, he really is. Wow, he actually is calling them the fuck out. Holy shit.
each and every one
Damn.
of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal.
I wonder
All
where
I
that
got
is.
from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle.
Oh.
If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. and then a teleprompter.
See. If it would have been Biden, if Biden had won the re-election, that would have been Biden on the stairs. And see, he would have fallen. He would have died. The UN would have killed, but they would have assassinated Biden. But because it was Trump there, it's like, oh no, everything's fine. See, he can take it.
That didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations: a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
If anything, Trump winning the election saved Biden's life. Because Biden would have died on that escalator in this day. It would have been over. Biden needs to thank Trump.
And by the way, it's working now. Just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars.
That's right.
But
You
later
remember that like Trump said that that his goal, he's like saving so many people because he's ending so many wars. His goal is to go to heaven. So he's got he's got a whole list. He's got he's probably counting. He's got tallying, all the points, how many wars he's ended. Oh, this is probably get me over. This is gonna get me over the line. When I see the pearly gates, I talk to Saint Peter. It's gonna be like, yeah, no. I mean, maybe I did some bad things, with the. I was gonna say with the prostitute, but it was a porn star, right? But you think about how many lives I saved. I mean, surely, it's like I'm profiting right here. This is a net profit. I'm coming out ahead.
Realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN is such tremendous.
Ooh. Why do you even? Wow, he's literally telling them. He's standing up there. He's like, why do you even exist? Almost as if he's saying, this here, I'm standing here, I'm doing all of this. This is a waste of time. Why are you even here? You guys can't even get an escalator to work. You guys can't even get fucking automated stairs fucking working. And you expect me to think that you're going to end wars?
Potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
You heard it here.
The only thing that solves war and wars is
the UN
action.
Is all talk.
Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit.
Yep. I knew he
Everyone
was going to
says
say
that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right?
For
I
each one of
knew
these
he was going to
achievements.
bring this up.
But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars.
To be fair, I feel like Trump is such a because I feel like you can't be a person that is very direct and blunt like Trump is and not have a massive pile of enemies. People hate it when you're blunt. They hate it when you're direct. They like sugarcoating. They like, writing strongly worded letters but never actually doing anything. People don't like confrontation, and for good reason, right? So I feel like if you're a character that's polarizing, like Trump is, it's really hard for you to get credit from the people that don't like you. And I feel like it'd be much harder for him to win a Nobel Peace Prize compared to Biden. Simply because Biden is not a character that runs around saying all of these things that the media then, regurgitates and takes out of context and makes it look like, like he's Hitler. So I think there is some truth to what he's saying. I think that somebody like Trump would have to do a lot more than the average leader to get a Nobel Peace Prize, because it has to get to the point where they can't just say, yeah, I mean that's good, but you gotta get to the point where it's like unanimous, where they look like clowns if they don't give you the prize.
What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives with the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that. Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very
that was me,
United
guys.
Nations complex. I remember it so well.
I built the United Nations.
That I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything.
This was me, guys.
I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive
plastic
at the time.
From China.
And which actually produced a far inferior product. And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly.
See, this is why they can't end
It
wars.
was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building.
The UN can't even build a building. How are they supposed to end wars? What are they even doing over there? They should have listened to Trump when he was just a regular real estate guy.
And did not even get the marble floors that I promised them. You walk on terrazzo. Do you notice that?
Ooh.
As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator.
It's a piece of shit.
They still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago.
Dude, the escalator situation, that's actually making it look like he's not, like he's actually, like he's got a point. Like they can't even get the escalator working. What kind of hack job is this? Like this is actually working in his favor.
The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify before them.
Oh shit.
On the tremendous waste of money, because it turned out that they had no idea what it was, but they knew it was anywhere between $2 and $4 billion, as opposed to $500 million with a guarantee.
Ooh.
But they had no idea.
Wow,
and I
that's
said
crazy.
It cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see. Whether the UN can manage to play a productive role, I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer, more prosperous world. And it's a world that we'll be much happier with. A dramatically better future is within our reach. But to get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past and work together to confront some of the greatest threats in history. There is no more serious danger to our planet today than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. Just as I did in my first term, I've made containing these threats a top priority, starting with the nation of Iran. My position is very simple. The world's #1 sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess the most dangerous weapon. That's why, shortly after taking office, I sent the so-called Supreme Leader a letter making a generous offer. I extended a pledge of full cooperation in exchange.
An offer he can't refuse.
For
from the dawn.
A suspension of Iran's nuclear program. The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region, and some great countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer with us. They're dead. And 3
Ooh.
months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 14 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's
But did
key
they die like
nuclear
dogs?
facilities, totally obliterating everything. No other country on earth could have done what we did.
If you recall, when he killed that one terrorist guy, you know, he gave the order to kill him. I forget what this guy's name. Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. I don't remember his name. He kept claiming that he died like a dog, and that his death was pathetic. It was this big running meme back in the day.
No other country has the equipment to do what we did. We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them. But we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war, as it's called, between Israel and Iran, with both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict.
The camera, we can't forget October 7th, can we? The camera just shifts to Israel. It's just like, yeah. What do you have to say about this? What does Israel have to say about October 7th?
Some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas.
Dude, these cameras, even their cameras are kind of dog shit. Every time it switches from one angle to another, like there's an audio stutter. Like whatever equipment they're using can't keep up. Like what? This is the UN? Dude, I'm starting to think that Trump was right. Like they did a hack job, man, building whatever this fucking thing is.
Hamas and giving so much because they've taken so much. They have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now. Thank you. Thank you. As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done. We have to stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to negotiate. Immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get the hostages back. We want all 20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got, along with Steve Witkoff and others that helped us, Marco Rubio, we got most of them back. We were involved in all of them.
Little Marco.
But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly what happened. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. Have this process. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies.
You know, real talk, man, I feel so bad for those hostages. Like, it is such a fucking shitty situation. Like, could you imagine if it was like your wife or your son or daughter who were currently hostages? Just the sheer like dread and anxiety that you have, that not knowing whether they're gonna be okay, not knowing what the hell they're doing to them. I mean, like there's like, they say that they treat them so nice, but then when the hostages come out, like they talk about being raped, you know, and being like starved and all sorts of crazy shit. And these are just civilians, dude. These are just regular people. It's not even like these are soldiers. Like, it's fucked up, man. And I don't know. I don't know. It always sucks because it's always the little person that's getting screwed. Whenever you have a war, whenever you have like big nations going up against each other, it's always the little people that get fucked.
He's back too. Those parents came to me and they want him back, and they want him back very quickly and very badly, as though they were alive.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
They want him every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But, you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad.
Yep.
Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years.
With no end in sight. There's Zelensky.
5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides, every single week. From 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States. And look where we are right now in just a short period of time. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products.
Germany.
Which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy.
Maybe Germany.
They're funding
I know
the
that they
war
really like getting their oil
against
from Russia.
themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal
Money talks, man.
to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed. I believe.
Isn't that crazy how there's all this rhetoric in Europe about how like Russia bad and Russia is like a threat to like humanity or whatever, and they're still buying. There's some of these countries that are in Europe that are still buying oil and funding the Ukraine war, funding Russia. Isn't that crazy? That's just funny. Isn't it crazy how like China is like massively funding the Ukraine war, yet somehow China is good, you know, and like there's all this like US bad, China good rhetoric in Europe. Isn't that funny? That's weird.
Very quickly, but for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you,
I guess Ukraine doesn't really matter that much, huh?
Would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures.
Not more than oil.
I mean, you're much closer to the city. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia.
Camera just goes in and to the Russian Federation.
To them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here. I'm sure they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth.
Yeah, they don't take kindly to that.
Of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation
especially
to join
not
us
this
in
one
ending the
in the middle.
development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them,
Yep.
the world literally might come to an end.
Yep.
There would be no
That's-
United
that's-
Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless
It's depressing.
experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens.
Yeah.
This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce Biological Weapons Convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that.
Yeah, yeah, and I do agree with the whole biologic weapons situation. Like that's, yeah, brutal stuff.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the #1 political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled.
Here we go.
Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to
Damn.
support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is
Oh.
supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to
What the fuck is that? Is that real? Like, what the what? What? Like, so the UN is funding illegal immigrants to come and essentially invade the United States? Why aren't we doing something about that? Why aren't we, like, I don't know, fucking doing anything about cut funding, you know? I don't. Well, let's see what he has to say.
get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration.
25.
And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact,
Oh, she doesn't look happy
anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names.
I imagine that, you know, in these European countries, my understanding is that Europe is a lot more on the left than the United States. And so these guys, their governments are probably a lot more like the Democrats. And in that same way, I imagine that just like the Democrats benefited greatly through changing the demographics and the voting demographics to give themselves more votes by bringing in people that are more likely to vote Democrat or massively likely to vote Democrat. I think that that's probably the same stuff that's going on in Europe, but probably even worse because they're more left over there. They're probably a lot more pro illegal migration, and there's probably a lot of political capital to gain by bringing in people from all of these, third world countries. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for what they do over there. But also, to be fair, I'm not a European. I'm not. I don't live in the UK. I don't live in Germany. So like, if the Germans think that this is fine, then have at it. If the UK people feel like this is fine, then have at it. That's okay. That's the same way that I feel about certain states. Like a state like California sometimes has state laws that are very different than the rest of the United States. But if that's what the Californian people vote for, it's their state. They can do whatever they want. When it comes to their state laws. So in that same respect, that's fine. That's totally fine. I would urge though the European people, the natives over there, you're not gonna be the de facto, like, this isn't gonna be de facto your land. Like, eventually there's gonna be so many people that are coming from all these countries, and they're not assimilating, and they don't have your culture, and they don't have your values. Some of these people don't even speak your language. Um, that it is gonna dilute your country, and they're gonna gain political power, and stuff like Islam is gonna become more prominent in your country, and they're gonna vote, or their children will vote, you know, and they're not gonna vote in a way that identifies with your people, with your history. And when that happens, it's gonna be too late. So, like they say, everything in moderation. I would say immigration as well.
See it, and I could call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is.
I believe it.
And nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it.
Yep. Because, white people bad. And because white people bad, because they did something bad. Oh, white people had slaves back in the day. White people conquered some areas back in the day. And because white people had slaves in the past, and they conquered some areas in the past, it means that now you have to let a billion, third world illegal immigrants to come into your country and completely change it, completely break your social safety nets, completely change your voting demographics, and turn your country, turned it into a version of theirs. Turn it into another third world place, essentially. How is this good? How does this the only people that benefit from this are the kinds of people that are like, like they were going on in the UK. There was this like hotel tycoon guy who owned a lot of the hotels, and apparently he was making billions of dollars off of the whole immigration thing. He was very pro immigration. He would go out and he would like talk, to the news and all of that, and he would say, "Oh no, immigration good, immigration good." And then it turns out that this guy makes a bunch of money off of immigration. Of course, immigration is good when the government's paying you millions of dollars so you could like house migrants in your hotels. Duh. There are some people that are gonna win out from this, but you have to decide: is that person gonna be you? Is it gonna be your people? Is it going to be the people that inherited your country? Like the people from your ancestry, from your culture? Everybody's going to have to make that decision. And I just feel like the Europeans are so less aggressive than Americans are, that they're just probably just going to be passively just let it happen. And then it's going to be too late. And then the other aspect of it is that European people, like Americans, don't reproduce very much. Everybody's on birth control. People are getting abortions, and so the birth rate has just crashed. And so these countries are bringing in more people in order to kind of stabilize the population, because otherwise there's going to be a population crash, and that's going to destroy the economy, and it's going to be horrible. It could lead to a Great Depression, you know. And so they're bringing in, because the Europeans are not reproducing, they have to bring people from India, they have to bring people from, you know, Iran and whatever, Afghanistan, Africa, because those people are going to reproduce for them. So it's like, think about it. You're not even reproducing. Your country's being flooded with foreign people. Like, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to become a minority. You're going to go extinct. It is what it is. Is this what you want? Now's the time to do something about it. That, or this is your future. More like that, or you have no future.
And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed, so changed.
Oh, yeah.
Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that.
Well, they can if they get enough votes.
Suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done. Energy ideas will be. Can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. They cannot. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there.
I wonder how like, you know, Germany would feel, or like some of these countries would feel if like God came down and he's like, we're gonna import a massive amount of Germans to, like, you know, fucking South Africa, the country of South Africa, so we can change the demographics and make it more white. I wonder how the Germans would feel. I bet they think this would be terrible. Like, this would be so awful. It's like, oh my God, no, you're changing South Africa. You're gonna make it more white. Eventually, like the flood of white Germans going over there is gonna change the voting demographics of South Africa. Well, no, we need to keep South Africa as South Africa. You know, let Germany be Germany. Let South Africa be South Africa. I bet you that's the kind of bullshit they'd be saying. But they can't say that about themselves, because they have this, as he says, this suicidal tendency. Like, it's suicidal empathy is really the term, where they will destroy their own country just to appease their own feelings about white guilt, just to be empathetic to the people that are, you know, maybe having tougher lives in third worlds, and bring them over here so they can then, you know, change Germany. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think that it's over there. Like, it's. I don't think it's far gone in the United. Obviously, it's not far gone. We elected Donald Trump. Like, yeah, twice. And he's like the only. He's the only, like, him and another president are the only presidents that have ever been elected, not simultaneously, because it's extremely hard. If you lose an election, it's extremely hard to come back again for another one. Like, it's just almost impossible to win. Yet he did it. You know? Would somebody like Donald Trump win in Germany? Absolutely not.
And that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything.
Exactly what I said.
Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a
Oh
lot
man,
of
well
countries.
said. You guys solve these problems in their countries, not create new problems in our countries, not bring those problems to our countries.
That are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25, 30,000
Yeah.
people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into
Yeah, that
our
shit was
country,
crazy.
totally unchecked and unvetted. But not anymore. According to the Council of Europe in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number
Holy
is
shit.
53.
50% of inmates are already in a place like Germany foreigners. People that are not native to Germany. Holy shit. And that's now. You think that's bad? You think that's bad now? Wait till you see how shit's going to be in 2035. Wait till 2040. And then we'll see.
3% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful
Jesus.
Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are
Oh
from
my God. 72%. Dudes, when I was a kid, I used to think that a place like Switzerland was like, you know, heaven. Not anymore. Not any fucking more.
outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid.
And I just feel so bad, dude, for the women, dude. I feel so bad for the women who are getting raped by these men that come over from these countries where they can get away with that shit over there, so they think they can do it here too and start raping and murdering women. Like, bro, and they grab the fucking underage girls, young girls, and like they have these fucking like gang rape things where they like fucking destroy the girl inside and out and then kill her at the end. It is horrifying. And Europe puts up with this shit on the fucking daily. Like places like the UK, places like Germany, places like Switzerland. Like what? It's just there's just some Europeans are different. That's all I'll say. They're different. They have a different culture. They have different things that they tolerate. Rape gangs apparently being one of them. And I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to change Europe, but at the same time it's like, man, come on guys, wake up. Wake up. You can't really think that this is okay, can you? How many young girls need to die
It's time
for
to
you to
end the
go,
failed
shit,
experiment
we need
of
to stop
open
this?
borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you, I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This was a humanitarian act for all involved because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying. Women were being raped. Nobody's ever
Dude, and this shit is the worst. Like they have these experts basically who are the kind of people that are gonna smuggle you into the United States. They call them coyotes. And these people, like you come in to get them to help you. Like you're a regular person, you're trying to come to the United States illegally, right? These people will help you, but they're gonna put, sometimes they're like, no, okay, yeah, but you have this package that we want you to bring into the United States. You're gonna here's some cocaine in a fucking bag, and you're gonna stick it up your vagina, and you're gonna deliver it to my friend Jose over there in Texas, and or it'll be like, oh, you have a daughter? Oh, okay, well you're gonna give us your daughter for a night or two, and then we'll give her back to you. And you know exactly the kind of shit that they do. You know what they'll do to that kid. And it's kids, man. It's fucking kids. Like these people have all the power. The coyotes and these people that are the smugglers have all the power, and these people go to them begging for help and paying exorbitant amounts of money, and doing whatever they say just so they could get in here in the United States. And you have people in New York, people in California who then go, oh, nah, I feel so bad for these people. We need to continue to like make sure that these horrible logistics continue to exist. Let's not stop this. No, let's have more people come over here so that these smugglers have more people to smuggle, more drugs to bring into the United States, more girls and boys, I guess, to rape, you know? Like it's fucking insane. And the reason why they think this bullshit is because they are so disconnected. These people in fucking Manhattan, New York are so like living in the north of the United States are so disconnected from the border that they don't even see this shit. They don't even like they don't have to deal with the fucking problem. Everybody else does though. There is this county in Texas that has voted Democrat for pretty much almost for its entire existence. Essentially, it has been voting Democrat, I believe, since it was like the year 1825. It has been voting every 4 years. It votes Democrat for a Democrat president, and this is a county that is a area that is 90% Latino. And historically Latinos massively vote Democrat. That's just how it is. It is what it is. Second here. So this area is massively Latino, and Latinos massively vote Democrat. Just how it is. For the first time in all of its entire history, they voted Trump. And the reason that they voted Trump, according to exit polls, the reason they voted Trump is because of immigration. Because all of these, and they're right near the border, you had all these people that were coming in during the Biden years and bringing in all this crime to their communities, bringing in all these drugs, bringing in all these people that are being smuggled in, coming from God knows where. And they had enough crime, enough people died, enough people got raped. Enough is enough. They voted Trump for the first time in history. And there were many such cases of counties like that where it's like a lot of Latinos that voted Trump. And Trump won record numbers of Latinos. Never has a Republican in history won as much of the Latino vote as Trump did. These are people from South America who are legal immigrants, who are voting, or who are descendants from legal immigrants, who are voting, and they're voting Republican on a level a Republican president has never seen. And why is that? It's because bringing in all this crime eventually takes its toll and eventually shits up your community. Eventually people get tired. I don't know what's it going to take for Europe to get tired, but I hope they get tired very soon.
Seen anything like it? Raped?
And I know Europe isn't a monolith, okay? I know, okay, Germany. What's it going to take for Germany to get tired? What's it going to take for the UK to get tired?
Horribly
That sort of thing.
Beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed. And it was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey was loaded up with death.
Mm-hmm. So many people
Loaded
die
up
on the
with
trail
death.
trying to make it to the
Dead
United
bodies
States.
all along the roads of jungles to get up. They go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation, areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over. By them not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done on the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it.
Oh, no.
With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working.
For now.
And we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this
Not if
problem.
Gavin Newsom
And
wins
also, as I
2028.
said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned.
I'm joking, by the way. He's
I
not
don't
going to
think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with...
Okay, we're going to pause here. And we will continue the rest next time. I do have to... something did come up. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.